The Houston Texans have a problem that they already have the answer to.
That would be Sarge. Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Fix that. There we go. You tuned into the Texans Tailgate Talk Show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. And guess what? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. All right. Okay. So nobody's in the house. All right. So look, I'm not going to be on here for a long time. Okay. I'm not going to be on here for a long time because I have another show that I'm on at 5:20, I think. Hold on, let me make sure. Cause I don't want to mess nothing up. If I tell somebody I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. So 5:15, right? So I have another show that I'm gonna be on at 5:15, and then after that, I have another show that I'm going to be on at 7:30. So guess what? For you people who always complain, Sarge, we don't see you enough around these parts. I got it. I understand. But I think that I've been doing a really good job of staying consistent. If I do say so, my damn self. But I will, you all going to see me a lot today, right? You all will see me a lot. That's why I won't be on here for a very long time. So, you know what I'm saying? We got to get in and get out. Like, let's just go ahead and have a little happy hour drink and get this thing over with. Like I said, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. All right. So the title of today's happy hour is the Houston Texans have a problem that they already have the answer to. And with that being said, right? With that being said, everyone knows, everyone who has been close to to their phones, to their computers, to their tablets, to their watches, any apparatus that you use to get social that you use for social media that you have alerts on, we already know that the Houston Texans will be without the services of second-year wide receiver Jayden Higgins, who tore his ACL on Tuesday in a joint practice against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, here's the crazy part, right? Here's the crazy part about it. He did it, and it's one of those, because it was non-contact, at least from what I've seen. It was non-contact, but it was one of those things where you're saying to yourself, okay, you see him go down, and at first you see him go down, and you see him in excruciating pain, because even on the play, CJ completed the pass to Dalton Schultz. It was a touchdown, but in the back of the end zone, what was happening was you're seeing Higgins down. So now you're looking and you're saying, okay, so Higgins is down, and then he looks like he's in excruciating pain. And so the training staff runs over to him. They get the cart out, but then he stands up and he walks off on his own, right? He stands up and sorry, just slide the catch up and must have stand. Oh yeah, I did. My bad. So he gets up and he walks to the into the training room on his own wheel. So you're saying to yourself now, okay, so there was no there he did not use the cart. You're thinking that the injury isn't that bad. When you're looking at it, you're saying, okay, so maybe he didn't sustain the injury that we thought that he did. But you're still playing the guessing game. And you're saying to yourself, okay, so we know he got hurt. We don't know how severe the injury is going to be. And then we get the news today that he's out for the season. And Higgins was a guy that was having a really good camp. He was having a really good camp. You can see that he had took everything that he had learned from his rookie year and improved upon that. All the mistakes that he had made. And of course, he's going to a second year. He's 2 years in the NFL isn't a long time. So he was bound to make some mistakes. He had made some mistakes during camp, but he was having a really good camp, and you can tell he had taken a leap from his rookie season to a sophomore season, and that's with a full off season of being able to work out under full NFL like under that full NFL regiment, right? Because when you're coming out of college and you do the draft combine stuff, and then you get drafted, and then you coming in and you are still learning what's going on. You're still learning everything that's going on as far as getting acclimated to playing for an NFL team. So it's not until you have that full off season to come back that you really learn how to prepare for an NFL season. When you're a rookie, you don't know what to prepare for. You're still trying to figure out where you need to be and when you need to be there, right? Getting on the field, learning the playbook, doing all that stuff, that comes a little bit easier than knowing, okay, so what happens after? How many meetings do we have to go to? Now do I have to go and lift? When do I have to go to treatment? When am I going to eat? When are we having meetings again? When are we coming back for another practice? When is the walkthrough? So there's a lot that you have to learn as a rookie. So with Jayden Higgins, you can see that he has started to get himself acclimated to being an NFL wide receiver. And it just sucks that he would go down like that. Like it's just like I said, you see him go down and you're saying to yourself, okay, so what's going on again? Like he walked off. But I remember what game was that where Kobe tore his Kobe tore his Achilles, and then he still shot the free throw and walked off the court on his own. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not comparing Jayden Higgins to Kobe Bryant. What I'm telling you is that how Kobe walked off on his own is the exact same way Jayden Higgins walked off on his own. And so now you're looking and you're saying to yourself, okay, so what are the Texans going to do? Right? What are the Texans going to do? You're going to go out there and you're going to find a wide receiver. You're going to look for a veteran to come in and get on this team and see if he can learn, this playbook within the next 2 weeks, because on Thursday the Texans play the Raiders, and then they come right back and they have to travel to Charlotte to play their last preseason game in Charlotte on Friday, on that following Friday. So you could bring try to get a veteran. Could you trade for somebody? Yes, you could. I'm pretty sure that right now Nick Caserio is working the phones trying to figure out what he needs to do. But even with that being said, I think the Texans have the answer. I think the Texans have the answer already on their roster. Like, this is going to sound crazy to a lot of you all, but maybe it's because I have a different view and a different outlook on things when I'm watching. Because I'm watching, like a lot of the times when I'm watching in training camp, I'm watching, but there are certain things that I'm watching for. Like I will hone in and I will focus on, okay, so what's going on again? So for as well of a camp that Jayden Higgins is having, so is Xavier Hutchinson. And I know that some people still are not sold on Hutch. I get it. I got it. Just like I told you all last year when they drafted Jayden Higgins, I said what they're getting is they're getting another wide receiver who has all the accolades coming out of college. So did Xavier Hutchinson. Go back and look at Xavier Hutchinson's time at Iowa State and see how good he was. Then he came in. He was, of course, he was fighting for playing time, fighting for reps in that first 2 seasons. Then they switched systems. He gets to play, he gets to play in that his third year, because Tank is out for the season. He gets himself acclimated, to playing in a new system under Nick Caley. And now it looks like he has put all that together. We got an opportunity to speak with him on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. And one of the things that I really liked about what Xavier Hutchinson did is he came in and he took accountability for his play on last season. He said, I'm pretty sure that you all, will agree with this. I did not play my best football on last season, but he was looking for. He took accountability. Then he told us how he was going to rectify that problem and fix that problem. That's something that you can see him doing in this training camp. He is starting to get more and more acclimated to playing wide receiver in this system. And so Higgins goes down. I do believe that they have the answer already, and you just insert Xavier Hutchinson in that number 2 spot until you can get Tank up to speed, and then maybe later on down the line, Tank can come back and play opposite of Nico Collins like he did his rookie year and his sophomore season. And once you get him acclimated, you could bring him back, and then you could use Hutch within that same system as well if that's what you want to do. But I believe that Xavier Hutchinson is a starter in the especially in this Texan system. I believe that he can be a starter. I believe that this season he could be an effective starter because you put a lot of stuff around CJ Stroud when it comes to protection. It's a revamped offensive line. It's his second year in this system. It's Xavier Hutchinson's second year in this system. It's one of those things where he can and he's ready to take that step up. And it's a contract year for him. Like, this is a contract year for Xavier Hutchinson. So I believe that the Texans already have the answer to the Jayden Higgins problem. Now, even though you have the answer with Xavier Hutchinson, right? You still have that backup. I believe that Jared Wayne, knowing the complex, also knowing that this playbook, also being around, having some familiarity with CJ Stroud, but having familiarity with this team, I believe that he can step up. He can help. I believe that Lewis Bond, if he's getting, I believe that Lewis Bond, even though he's a rookie, he could contribute maybe later on down the line, or at least be, get to the point where the Texans could use him somewhere later on in the season if they have to. But I believe that you could see, once you get Jalen Noel back, you could see Nico Collins, Xavier Hutchinson, and Jalen Noel in that 3 wide receiver system, and then you can switch. You could switch between Xavier Hutchinson and Jared Wayne. Because so here's the thing, right? Most of the people who don't believe in Xavier Hutchinson or don't believe in Jared Wayne, I want to ask you a question. Do you not believe in them because you think that they don't have the talent or the skill set? Or do you not believe in them because you haven't seen them play enough reps? You haven't seen enough reps inside of this offense to say, I'm fully ready to put Xavier Hutchinson in that wide receiver 2 position. Or I'm ready to put Jared Wayne. Because if you're asking me, and it's different for me because I have the access to be able to watch all of the practices, especially during training camp. So I have an opportunity to see these guys go through their individual drills. I have an opportunity to see them go through the team drills. I have an opportunity to see them mix and match with different offensive units. Sometimes with the first unit, sometimes with the second unit, and it's just interchanging them. So I have an advantage because I have the access. So I would say yes. For you, I can't be mad at you if you say, well, Sarge, I haven't seen them play enough. I haven't seen them perform well enough to say that, yeah, they're ready to, they're ready to step up and play that wide receiver 2 position. But I would also challenge you on this. Could you have said that about Jayden Higgins as well? Could you have said, I don't really know what Jayden Higgins is going to be because I seen him play last year. I watched him play last year. I know that he tied with Nico Collins for 6 touchdowns, to lead the wide receivers. Shout out to Jason Braddock for that. Hutch only had 3, but Hutch only had 35 receptions for 400 and something yards. So you could also say, how many times was Xavier Hutchinson targeted? I remember there was a time that during last season, we were just mainly talking about Xavier Hutchinson and his blocking ability. We weren't talking about his pass catching ability because he wasn't receiving a lot of targets. But with that being said, I think that, given the amount of reps, I think that if we come back, let's just say week 8, week 9, I think that them having that amount of time, which is, right around the mid-season point, then we can come back and let's have this conversation now that you've seen both of them in the system. I don't know if the Houston Texans should run out and try to find a veteran when they can just keep developing what they have right now. They can just keep developing what they have right now. And like I said, you're going to get Noel back. You're going to get Tank back. At some point, you're going to get Tank back. And when you get Tank back, when you get Tank back, you're going to see that he's going to need a little time to get himself back up to full speed, to get himself back up to the Tank Dell that we seen the rookie season, the Tank Dell that we seen in his sophomore year before he dealt with injuries. And once you get him up back to speed, so now if you get Tank back up to speed, let's just say by week 5, right? Week 5. Because when do they have their bye week? Week 6 is their bye week. They play the Bills, the Bengals, the Colts, the Cowboys. And after that, do they go to London? No, I don't know if do they go to London after that? Can somebody help me out with that? But if you can get Tank back, and after they come back from London, you can see. Let's just say after they come back from London, then you can start making those type of evaluations. But I think that the Texans are still in really good shape. I think that they're in really good shape now. Is there an opportunity to give some other players, that's out there to come in, an opportunity to learn the system and have some depth? Sure, I don't have an issue with that. But I think that you have enough right now to continue rolling with the continuity with in which what they have, and you can keep it moving. Now, here's something. I'm gonna say a name to you all, right? True Texans fans are going to already know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna say a name, and I will say that he was the Lewis Bond of last year. He was the Lewis Bond of 2025. There's a player out there, and I looked it up before I started this show, and he's currently not on a team. I don't know why, but it says he's currently not on a team. But if you all see that he is on a team, I can only go by, the small research that I did. Last year, the Houston Texans had a receiver in their camp that played at the University of Minnesota with Ariante Ursery by the name of Daniel Jackson. Daniel Jackson is a really, really, really good wide receiver. Why he's not on the team, I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know what happened after he left the Texans. But what I will say is Daniel Jackson is a really good wide receiver. And if he's still available, because I don't want you all coming after me and saying, Sarge, you said he got a broken tibula or something. I don't know. I just know that from my small research, he's not on the team. If he's not on the team and he got an opportunity to, to be in this system for a small amount of time during training camp, and he had an opportunity to pick up on some of his CJ Strauss quarterback tendencies. I don't know. Maybe. That's something that I probably have to ask after the Texans game on Thursday night. Maybe I'll ask Ariante if he's heard from Daniel Jackson, because I know that they were really close. They were really close. They're really good friends as well, and he was super excited last season when Daniel Jackson was here with him. So that's just a name I'm throwing at y'all. Do not clip this up and put it out and say, well, Sarge said that the Texans if they go out to get Daniel Jackson, they're going to the Super Bowl. No, Sarge is not saying that. That's just a name I'm throwing out that is still enough time to even maybe evaluate what you have in him in training camp. Because I don't know, what the rest of the wide receivers are going to give you. Even though, hold on, there's one other wide receiver that I've been watching, and I'm saying to myself, he's in the middle because he'll have some really good plays and then he'll have some not good plays. And it isn't a name that I have mentioned on any of these shows just yet because I don't know the fine balance of how to talk about him. Where is he? 14. Yes. Trayvon Saunders out of Colgate. If you've been to the Houston Texans, if you've been out at the Houston Texans training camp, he's number 14. Now I know there's two number 14s. There's two number 14s on the field. Okay, matter of fact, it's probably two number 14s on the field at the same time. One on the offensive side is Trayvon Sanders, and the other one with Mapu. What's Mapu's first name? Marte Mapu. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, as I digress and as I get ready to get up off here, make sure you all have your alerts on because the Texans cookout with Chancellor Johnson, DJ BNMA, Jonathan Alexander, and yours truly, Big Sarge. We're going to do a live show. This will be the first time we've ever done a live show. We're going to do a live show, I think, starting at 5:15, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the time. So you will get an opportunity to see me again. You will get you will get different views on what those guys believe. I'm sorry, you get different views on what those guys think how the Houston Texans should move from this point forward after losing um Jaden Higgins. I think they got listen, I'm telling you. I ain't never steered y'all wrong, have I? I don't know. Maybe early on in my career, I was I was the what you call it? I was the president of the Kiki Kuti fan club, but that's not my fault. That's not my fault. That's not my fault that Kiki didn't thrive with the Houston Texans. That was a Bill O'Brien issue. I mean, look, I ain't the only one. Y'all heard Jadeveon Clowney say a couple of weeks that he mentioned Bill O'Brien's name, not in a very pleasant manner. He laughed about it, but he was serious. I'm just saying. Give Xavier Hutchinson, give Jared Wayne, give those two guys an opportunity to show you what they can do. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll come right back here at the happy hour. We're gonna come right back here. We're gonna have us a drink. And we're gonna say, Sarge, it did not work. You know what I'm gonna say? It didn't. They tried, but it didn't work. They tried. It didn't work. We'll see. I just don't think that Nick Caserio should push the panic button. That's the thing. I don't think that Nick Caserio should push the panic button and rush out there and try to find like a wide receiver that may not be a good fit for the system. If you're gonna go out and you're gonna find somebody, make sure that it's a good fit for the system. Don't just rush out there and try to make a trade just for the sake of making a trade because you are going to get Higgins back next season. So, like I said, I ain't rushing to do nothing like that. I would go out and see if there's some guys that are maybe available to come in and do this next 2 weeks of training camp. Well, I'm sorry, this next like week of training camp. See what they can do. One more note. One more note before I get up off here and get myself prepared for the Texans cookout. Earlier this week, hold on, would entertain. Uh, hold on for a second. I gotta address this. Hold on. So they asked me, would I entertain DeAndre Hopkins? That's Nook coming back. As a reserve, or as a starter? Maybe that's what I should ask. And I'll wait. I'm not gonna sidestep your question. I'm going to answer your question, but you got to tell me: is he coming back? Do you want him back now, especially with what has transpired over the last 24 hours? Do you want him back as a starter, or you want him back as a reserve? And I can answer both of those questions, but I need to know. I want to answer the question that you're asking me first. I'll get to that in just a second. But what I was about to say is, um, some other news that I have to share with you all before I get off of here. And I think that you all may have seen it if you follow me, me or others on social media. Earlier this week, I asked. It was me that asked, right? I think it was me who asked D'Amico Ryans. Was it me? Maybe it wasn't me. Maybe it was somebody sitting in front of me. I'm gonna tell you, my days, they all just run together. So sometimes I gotta make myself little notes so I can remember what happened like 2 days prior. I digress. D'Amico Ryans was asked about playing time for the starters in this game against the Las Vegas Raiders. And he said that anybody who's healthy, any starters that is healthy is gonna play. Well, on Wednesday, we were notified that D'Amico Ryans think that the joint practice with the Raiders went so well, and he has gotten enough to evaluate what he needs to evaluate, that not all the starters that are healthy will be playing. They're you might show up to the game, and I'm pretty sure. I think about 95% sure that Will probably won't play. Will Anderson won't play. Daniil won't play. Sheldon won't play. Kamari probably won't play. Kalen, Reed, Sting, Aziz, Henry. Pretty sure they won't play. So I'm pretty sure you won't. Like out of all the potential starters heading into Week 1 against the Buffalo Bills, Tom. I always call him Tommy. It's Tommy. Tommy Togiao would probably be the only starter you'll see get some time out there. That's on the defense side of the ball. If I had, and this is just an educated guess. If I had to take an educated guess on the offensive side of the ball, you of course you're not going to see Nico. You're not going to see Jalen Noel. You're not going to see Tank. Now you probably won't see Hutch. You probably see Jared Wayne, Trayvon Sanders, Lewis Bond. You'll see those guys get a lot of reps over these next two preseason games. If you see CJ, it'll probably be for a series. Probably won't see David Montgomery. If so, it'll probably be for a series. Woody Marks would probably be for a series. The entire offensive line may play two series, and then they'll be out. Dalton Schultz probably won't play. You'll get a heavy dose of Foster Moreau, Marlon Klein, and Cade Stover. Yeah. So there won't be a lot of, if you were expecting like everybody else, myself included, if you were expecting to see the starters get an opportunity to play these two preseason games, because you remember back in the day, it used to be back in the day you would watch them and it'd be four preseason games, and you knew that third preseason game you're gonna see the starters play at least a half, and then when the CBA came around and they renegotiated, I think, and they went down to three preseason games. Then you would think, okay, we're going to see them in that second game. We won't see the starters in the first game. Won't see the starters in the third game. We'll see them a little bit in the second game. But I think that Jaden. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that Jaden Higgins. I think that Jaden Higgins injury may have changed some things for the Texans as well. I think that may have said that they may have said, "Hey, let's not chance it with any of our other guys. We've already lost a potential starter for the season. let's not chance it with the other. We'll just say we had some good film from that. There was a question about, hold on. Let me go back and find the question. So the question was, would I entertain? And that is DeAndre Hopkins' nickname coming back. And then I asked as a starter or as a reserve. And then you said as a depth piece. But if he works himself into the rotation, that's fine. So if he comes back as a depth piece, he will find his way into the rotation. So definitely not as a starter. I don't think that DeAndre Hopkins I think that DeAndre Hopkins has played enough football throughout his career that he may be on the other side of his career. I don't think he's at the peak like he was before. And hey, look, if anybody knows me, you know I am a DeAndre Hopkins fan. I'm a super fan of DeAndre Hopkins. But I think that he's on the other side of his NFL career right now. If you're bringing him in to be a possession receiver, if it's 3rd and 6, Hop could probably get you about 9 yards. He's going to catch everything you throw in his direction. He can still catch. He may not be able to, because he's never been a speedster. So he isn't one that's going to take the top off of the defense. Yeah, is that, but he is a very good possession wide receiver. He's not afraid to take a hit. He's not afraid to go across the middle. He's not afraid to do whatever it takes to catch the ball. So as a possession wide receiver, yes. But give me a second. I normally don't do this, but I'm going to do this just for y'all. Hold on 1 second. Where is it? I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show y'all something. All right? This just for y'all. I'm going to read it to you first. August 4th. I told Clowney today, this is me talking to DeAndre Hopkins. I told Clowney today that the Texans need to get the band back together. He responded, ha ha, man, them boys got a good group at wideout. Excited to see them go. Okay, that's some of y'all not going to believe me, right? Y'all think that I might be making that up. Okay, so here you go. This is why I laugh sometimes, because people be like, Sarge, blah, 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 blah. Sarge doesn't. Sarge isn't. Sarge hasn't. Sarge doesn't. Y'all don't know what Sarge. And y'all don't know who Sarge knows. And you don't know who Sarge talks to. Bam. Bam, bam, bam. I don't even know if that's what I was supposed to do right there. Sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes I'm always sitting around and I'm like, hey, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my hands when I take pictures. It's like, I don't know. Like sometimes I don't know what to do with my hands, right? So I said that to say I don't know why I went pow, 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 bang, bang, pow, 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 boom, boom, pow. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you follow me on follow me on Instagram at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Because we do everything for the gram. And make sure you are subscribed to the Texas Tailgate Talk Show on YouTube. It's all one word, Texans Tailgate Talk. Oh, starting Monday, August 31st from 6 to 7 p.m. on ESPN 97.5 Houston. I'll be co-hosting the show with 5-star, my guy Andre, one of the best top 5 in the world as far as handicappers are concerned. I ain't gonna even lie. He can tell you there could be 2 unknown tennis players playing at 3 p.m. in France. 3 p.m. France time. He'll give you everything that you need to know about who's going to win that match and why. And then you'll come back and you'll be like, "What damn, Dre, how did you know that?" You say to yourself, "How be knowing?" Like he knows like everything. Now, I'm not here to tell you to spend your money with Dre because I don't put my hands in nobody's pockets. All I'm going to tell you is that he's good. But the show is called Double Coverage on ESPN 97.5 starting August 31st from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is good because it's right after the 53-man roster. It'll be right after the 53-man roster is released. And that would be one of the first things we'll be talking about. So we'll be talking about a lot of everything, but I'm so excited to be a co-host of the Double Coverage show with host 5-star out of Vegas. Sing your song. Correct. Thank y'all. Thank you. I appreciate it. What time is it? Damn, I gotta go because if I'm late, I do not want to hear their mouth. And the reason why I don't want to hear their mouth is because I always get on DJ about being late. Big Sarge, I'm out.
Big Sarge.